Hey everybody, it's your old buddy, Uncle Rich, live from Danbury, Connecticut. Boy, I get such a kick out of doing that. Guys, we're entering the holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever floats your boat for a holiday. Have a good time, be happy. Try to stay focused. But guys, next week, the next 2 weeks, the studio is going to be closed. So we're not going to be doing any presentations. So I just want to wish everybody, first I want to say thank you for subscribing to us on YouTube. Guys, this is the first time 4 weeks in a row we've gone over 100 views. So I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to thank Uncle Joey, Kenny Johnson, all my friends on Facebook. I want to thank you. I tell you, I think this has been a good year, but I especially want to take my hat off. I got to make sure I don't blow out any of the lights here. I want to take my hat off to Greta Thunburg. And guys, you know, she was Time Magazine Person of the Year. So Kurt, can you bring up still number 01? So she was Person of the Year. And guys, nope, that's John Lennon. Nope. Kurt, what are you doing? We just practiced this. Well, you want me to sing it? Hey! All right, guys, so just to show you, she was Person of the Year, and some people didn't take kindly to that. So, Kurt, can you show us people that might have not taken kindly with still number 02? Yeah, Trump wanted to be Person of the Year. So what he did was, it was simple. He took out his Sharpie. And just like he rearranged the way the hurricane was going to go into, what was it, Alabama? I forget. I tell you, there's been so many lies. But guys, the next thing we wanted to do, I wanted to do a thing with Uncle Joey where I spoke to him and I had him comment on this clip. And I'm just gonna, we can't do it because we haven't gotten it figured out yet. But in the future, I want to be able to do my Facebook Live. Well, anyway, it's a little complicated. But in honor of Uncle Joey, I put up a post for Greta, and I simply said, the conservatives who are Republican and aren't concerned about conserving the planet are going to be happy with reality, aren't going to be happy with reality and Greta, are they? So guys, I put that up for Uncle Joey, and it's a shame that we can't do it, but Uncle Joey responded, and he responded with a video in perfect Uncle Joey fashion. So this is the video that he put up to combat what Greta was trying to get across. So Kurt, whatever number's the next one. There you go.
I'm here making this video today because I am angry. I'm angry. I'm furious, in fact, at those who believe that the best way to protect our planet or to combat climate change is to fill the minds of young people such as myself and even younger than myself, with what I can only describe as senseless doomsday propaganda.
So she's saying, and she's young, that the young people's minds are being filled with propaganda, right? So Uncle Joey puts this up as an answer to Greta. And Kurt, let's go with it now. Guys, we're going to show you a series of stills now. So she thinks this is a hoax. Look at that chart. If that doesn't tell you the globe is warming, you got a couple of screws loose. Kurt, do you have any more stills? Any more? There you go. The average global temperature has increased by 0.8 degrees Celsius, with 18 of the 19 warmest years occurring since 2001. Does that seem like a hoax to you? Does that chart look like a hoax to you? And that's Greg Gutfeld up there. NASA's latest annual data released in January shows the temperatures have been rising. It's simple. Any more, Kurt? And guys, you know, that was a hoax that Fox tried to put out. But we're going to have some fun with some of the hoaxes that Fox has put up. Because, you know, the one thing that we deal with is trying to tell people the truth. So on the next clip, we're going to show you how global warming is more than just something political. It's something physical. It's something that some of the simple folk, like Uncle Joey and Kenny Johnson, can't understand. It's physics. It's the thing that happens. It's the thing that makes thermometers move. It's the thing that makes icebergs melt. It's the thing that makes oceans rise. But let's get a little flavor for reality and physics. So Kurt, number 6, please.
Our main enemy right now is not our political opponents.
There you go.
Our main enemy now is physics.
That's all.
And we cannot make deals with physics.
We can't make deals with physics. But you know what? We can make changes. And the next clip is going to be a little further into this clip that we're showing you. And you can see, and she shows you statistically what's going on. Uncle Joey, oh wait, Uncle Joey's not going to pay attention. He hates statistics. But for the rest of you, especially the younger kids, pay attention and you'll get an idea of what's going into the air and how we're putting it there and how we're exceeding the amounts that we should be putting in. So Kurt, 7, please.
Some of you may have heard that we have 12 years as from January 1st, 2018 to cut our emissions of carbon dioxide in half. But I guess that hardly any of you have heard that is for a 50% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees Celsius of global temperature rise above pre-industrial levels. 50% chance.
50%.
So a 50% chance, a statistical flip of a coin.
Can you imagine?
Would any one of you step onto a plane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing?
That a girl.
More to the point, would you put your children on that flight?
Would you put your children on that flight? Would you get into an elevator if you had a 50% chance of surviving? Hey, these are all statistics, and the kids are going to have to face these statistics. And guys, the one thing I always say, especially to Uncle Joey, he's got a whole slew of grandkids. Uncle Joey, what are you going to tell your grandkids when they come up to you and they say, Grandpa, what did you do about global warming and climate change? Are you going to look them in the eye, Uncle Joey? Are you going to look them in the eye and say, I denied it? Is that what you're going to do, Joe? I denied it. Why? Obviously, you love your grandkids. You want to do everything you possibly can for them, but you're more in love with the Republican Party. The Republican Party and not reality. And Joe, I'm sorry. Sorry I have to be this way with you, but that's how you deal with everything. And it's a shame. And guys, on Facebook, when me and Joey were going back, I said, Joe, why are you still supporting Trump? Well, you know, what does Trump have on you? What does Trump have on Lindsay? That's what I really want to know. But, you know, where's the loyalty? What do you owe Trump? And guys, the only loyalty I can see is more or less the same loyalty, and I hate to say it, but the same loyalty that the Nazis had with Hitler. When you look at a global warming chart and you deny it, and you look at your grandkids and you tell them that that's not a fact, and NASA is the enemy, and Noah is trying to trick you, Joe, we've been going at this for, what, 5 or 6 years now. I've been very patient with you, very tolerant with you. But it's come to the point where you have to look yourself in the mirror. Do you think everybody's trying to trick you, Joe? Huh? And guys, Uncle Joey comes up with these conspiracies. Holy mackerel. One right after the other. It never ends. But guys, when it comes to the war against carbon, we have to act as a team. And who's a team player? Who's the former quarterback? Kurt, number 8, please.
You and me were a team, huh?
Yes, we did.
You and me were a team, huh?
Yes,
We're a team.
You and me were a team, huh?
yes, we...
Do you know about fist bumping? Do you believe in fist bumping? You can do the huh? Good luck.
Good luck, so we're a team. And what did Trump have to say to her? What did Trump do? He belittled her. Why? Because Trump is an idiot. Can you imagine me sitting here saying the President of the United States is an idiot? It's sad. I think the guy has mental issues. And Greta was asked, would you talk to him? Here's her answer. Kurt, number 9.
Why should I waste time talking to him when he, of course, is not going to listen to me?
But judging by her millions of followers on social media, the climate strikes she's inspired in the U.S. and across the world, and the number of politicians who want to hear her speak, many people are listening.
Many people are listening, and guys, we named the show after her, you know, and hopefully you'll pass the video around, and, you know, all it is awareness, you know, and some people are made aware one way, and some people are made aware another way. And guys, I want to tell you, the nonsense that the conservatives and the Republican Party is putting out is almost too much to take. And we're going to give you a little taste, but we'll play the full clip later on. All right? So let's have clip number 10, Kurt.
The adults who've brainwashed
Laura
these kids should
Ingraham.
be brought up on charges of child abuse.
Somebody needs to read poor Greta Genesis chapter 9 and tell her next time she worries about global warming, just look at a rainbow. That's God's promise that the polar ice caps aren't going to melt and flood the world.
Just look at a rainbow and trust in the idea that your invisible friend in the sky is going to protect you. Guys, one of the things I say on Facebook all the time, especially to the evangelicals, do me a favor. Please, do me a favor. Can you pray away global warming for your old buddy? Pray it away. Come on, get your God to do something. Obviously, He can't be that busy. You know, we got all this stuff that needs to be taken care of. But guys, the next clip we're going to show you, you know, you saw how Laura Ingraham said the kids are indoctrinated. Well, when you indoctrinate them with facts, that's what you want to do. Facts and statistics. But what does Sarah Gonzalez from The Blaze want to indoctrinize the kids with? Number 11, Kurt.
Greta Thunberg's parents are terrible people. Yeah, I said it.
Can
because
you
only
believe
terrible
that?
people and terrible parents would allow their young daughter up on a world stage to say that.
Guys, if that was my daughter, I would be so proud of her. I would say, Diana, rock and roll. Rock and roll. We only got one planet. Her baby is only 6 months old. Do you think she's going to look him in the eye when he asks her, Mom, what did you do about climate change and global warming? She's going to say, Jameson, I did everything I possibly could. I was aware, I was alert. I knew it wasn't a hoax. And I was looking out for you. And what is Uncle Joey going to say? Hopefully Uncle Joey will come around. But we're going to show you one more with Greta on the world stage. And when you're in front of the United Nations, this takes a set of Giuliani's. Not many people can do this. And she's only 16 years old.
Giuliani doesn't have any Giuliani.
Atta boy, Kurt. I tell you, slips them in there. All right, so we're going to play you this last clip with Greta. So go ahead, number 12, Kurt.
Because these numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
We will never forgive you. What else are they going to say? Joey, what are your grandkids going to say? Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for screwing everything up. Grandpa Joey, thank you. Come on, come on. You know, and not only do you have the rising waters, you got the droughts, you got the fires, you got the floods, you got the extreme weather. Hey, you can't fool Mother Nature, but the Republican Party thinks you can, and it's all about carbon. You know, that the problem is carbon. We have to have a war on carbon, and guys, there's some hope because we're able to capture carbon, to use it, and to benefit from it. And we do this by putting the carbon, the CO2, back into concrete. So it's called carbon capture. And guys, I tell you, next to biogas, I think this is one of the most beneficial things we can do almost immediately in any town, any place, anywhere. And I'll tell you, the first show of next year, I think we're going to dig right in. If we still have a president, I don't know. Trump might be history by then. But anyway, did we play 13, Kurt? The carbon capture?
No, that's
Hit it.
We're looking at ways we can innovate with concrete. It's important for Lafarge to take a leading role in looking at innovations to deal with a future low-carbon economy, and we can do that across all our product lines. We're happy to be showcasing the Carbon Cure technology where we can infuse CO2 into our concrete product, and we're happy to be able to pilot it right here at our Barrie plant.
And guys, when we play the longer clips, we'll show you how they do that. It's not rocket science. very simple, and it works. And, and I tell you, when you see the numbers and the charts, you're going to be blown away. All right, but now we go back to the beginning of the show. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get back to the full clips, why don't we just have a little bit of fun? Kurt, can you bring up still number 17? Oh, okay, all right. Well, we got that, how he gave Greta Thunburg the business. But go to number 17, please. The one, there you are. This is a child who knows nothing about science and shouldn't be given a platform. The other... The other is Greta Thunberg. All right, Kurt. Hey, guys. Once again, if they ever find me dead in my computer, look at the last thing I clicked on, and it's probably going to be something like that. But now, we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to show you how Uncle Joey put up this YouTube clip to try to justify the fact that Greta is trying to trick everybody, and we'll just have fun from here on out. So Kurt, number 21, please. Nope, we got to go to the video 21. But I like that. Try explaining that to your grandkids, huh? All right, but go ahead.
Senseless doomsday propaganda. Now, I know that just by hearing me say that, some people will already have labeled me a denier. And I want to make it clear that I don't deny climate change because it is real,
Guys,
as the
look
science
at
has
her
shown.
eyes.
I also don't deny that climate change is an issue that may well become more problematic in the future if left unmitigated. I'll even say that it may well, or it probably will, get worse in the future if nothing is done. No, I don't have an issue with the idea that climate change is real.
So if you don't have an issue with climate change and global warming being real, why would Uncle Joey put this up in opposition to what Greta's doing? Joe, are you watching the videos that you put up? Or is this too complicated for you? So anyway, we're going to jump back into the clip and just listen closely. Number 22, Kurt.
What I have an issue with is how the mass media has twisted and misrepresented the science to create an absolutely absurd scare story. A scare story that's affected billions of people across the world. We've reached a point in this whole thing where, because of the media's senseless doomsaying and misrepresentation of science, millions of young people all over the world are fully convinced that they are living in the end times. They're convinced that the collapse is coming and that there's no point in studying for the future or in having dreams and hope, because they believe that the world is ending soon and that they're all going to die in anything from 12 years to 30 years to as little as 18 months. It's got to the point where eco-anxiety, as they put it, has been classified as an actual mental health disorder. People are worried so sick about the supposed climate change apocalypse that they're being put on medication because of it. Young people are asking themselves if it's even worth studying or going to university anymore. And children as young as 6 or 7 are being terrified by climate change. Apparently, according to a psychotherapist, one mother has even reportedly fantasized about killing her child because she fears for the future because of climate change.
Can you
How is this
believe that?
even remotely okay or acceptable?
One mother was going to kill her child because of climate change? And Joe, this is the video that you put up to convince me that this girl knows what she's talking about? Isn't it quite obvious to you that she was reading from a script? Do you really think she had the mental capacity to write this? You really think so? I mean, Joe, come on. You know, but let's show you somebody that has a dream and that is willing to put facts and thoughts together. So Kurt, 23, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Greta Thunburg. I am a 16-year-old climate activist from Sweden. I am grateful for being with you here in the USA, a nation that to many is the country of dreams.
The country of dreams.
I
Not
also
anymore.
have a dream. I have a dream that people in power, as well as the media, start treating this crisis like the
How you want
existential
the
emergency
media to treat
it
the
is.
crisis, not the other girl.
So then I could go home to my sister Beata and my dogs,
All right.
because I miss them. In fact, I have many dreams. But this is the year 2019. This is not the time and place for dreams. This is the time to wake up.
There you go.
This is the moment in history we need to be wide awake.
I'm with you.
And yet, wherever I go, I seem to be surrounded by fairy tales.
Fairy
Business
tales,
leaders,
Joey!
elected officials, all across the political spectrum,
Get your
spending their
unicorn.
time making up and telling bedtime stories
There you go.
that soothe us, that make us go back to sleep. These are feel-good stories about how we are going to fix everything and how wonderful everything is going to be when we have solved everything. But it is time to face the reality, the facts, the science. And the science doesn't mainly speak of great opportunities to create the society we always wanted. It tells of unspoken human sufferings, which will get worse and worse the longer we delay action.
There you go.
Stop telling people that everything will be fine, when in fact, as it looks now, it won't be very fine. Some of you may have heard that we have 12 years as from January 1st, 2018 to cut our emissions of carbon dioxide in half. But I guess that hardly any of you have heard that is for a 50% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees Celsius of global temperature rise above pre-industrial levels. 50% chance. So a 50% chance, a statistical flip of a coin. Would any one of you step onto a plane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing? More to the point, would you put your children on that flight?
All right, so guys, isn't she smooth, calm, cool, collected? The way just the way she gives a breath, doesn't get excited, smooth. So Kurt, did we do 24 yet?
No, that's it.
Okay, this is part 2, guys. Hit it.
Would any one of you step onto a plane if you knew it had a 50% chance of crashing?
Of course not.
More to the point, would you put your children on that flight? We had, on January 1st, 2018, about 420 gigatons of CO2 left to emit in that carbon dioxide budget. And of course, that number is much lower today, as we emit about 42 gigatons of CO2 every year if you include land use.
See how they did that?
With today's emissions levels, that remaining budget is gone within less than 8.5 years.
Get the
These
idea?
numbers are not my opinions. They aren't anyone's opinions or political views. This is the current best available science. Though a great number of scientists suggest even these figures are too moderate, these are the ones that have been accepted by all nations through the IPCC. The USA is the biggest carbon polluter in history.
That's true.
It is also the world's #1 producer of oil.
That's true as well. Why is
Yet,
that?
you are also the only nation in the world that has signaled your strong intention to leave the Paris Agreement.
Why is that?
Because, quote, it was a bad deal for the USA.
Yeah, bull. Because Obama signed it.
420 gigatons of carbon dioxide left to emit on January 1st, 2018. Now that figure is already down to less than 360 gigatons. These numbers are very uncomfortable. But people have the right to know. And the vast majority of us have no idea these numbers even exist. In fact, not even the journalists that I meet seem to know they exist.
Atta girl.
Not to mention the politicians. And yet, they all seem so certain that their political plan will solve the entire crisis. But how can we solve a problem that we don't even fully understand? How can we leave out the full picture and the current best available science? I believe there's a huge danger in doing so. Our main enemy right now is not our political opponents. Our main enemy now is physics. And we cannot make deals with physics. Thank you.
It's as smooth as it gets, but it's like getting hit with a sledgehammer. But boy, is she poised. I'm impressed. But I tell you, you're going to be even more impressed with the next clip when she sits down with Obama, because Obama gets it. Right, Joey? So, Kurt, number 25.
It is very good to see you again.
Again?
Thank you so much for stopping by to say hello.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course. Well, you're changing the world, so we're very excited to have you.
You're changing the world.
The Friday strikes, how did they go in New York and how did they go in Washington?
Very well.
Yeah.
Everyone is so nice, and all these young people seem so eager, very enthusiastic, which is a very good thing.
Yeah. You and me were a team, huh?
Yes.
We're a team.
Do you know about fist bumping? Do you believe in fist bumping? You can do the
boom.
Huh? Good luck.
Good luck, you too.
What a gentleman, huh? What a gentleman. And look what we got in the White House now. A buffoon. A menagerie of buffoonery, like my friend Jake Riley always used to say. A menagerie of buffoonery. The left hand doesn't know what the right's doing. And how can I say that? It's simple. I'll just play the next clip. 26, Kurt.
A teenager from Sweden called the Voice of the Planet is ready to cross the Atlantic on a mission to fight climate change. In this morning's Eye on Earth, we follow Greta Thunburg. She'll be sailing from Europe to New York to call on world leaders to protect the environment. She leads a global youth movement and has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Roxana Saberi met Greta in her hometown of Stockholm.
Person of the year.
Doesn't like all this attention.
More?
I am very introvert and shy privately.
But the 16-year-old travels from stage.
You are not mature enough to tell it like it is.
To stage.
We know what is at risk, and we will never stop.
There you go.
The warning. We're running out of time to tackle climate change.
I wanted to act as if the house was on fire. Because it is.
As if the house was on
Greta says
fire.
having autism gives her the focus and determination to act. Her actions started with a solitary strike outside Sweden's parliament last year.
It only
now
takes
she's
one
far
person.
from alone. Sisters Sarah and Katie O'Callaghan have skipped school to join her on her weekly strikes.
Since we started school striking, we're vegetarian. We don't eat dairy. No.
That's because of Greta?
Yeah. Yeah. We don't take the car as much as we used to. We just cycle to school. Take the train and stuff. Yeah.
So she's really changed your lives.
Yeah, she's changed them for the better. Yeah.
All of these people are here to see Greta, a sign of just how much her message is resonating here in Sweden and across Europe. Now she's taking her message to the other side of the Atlantic.
The other side of the Atlantic? Let me guess, how is she going to get there? By taking a jet that spews carbon in the air? Guys, how many times have you heard that on Fox? But we're going to play part 2, and we'll show you how she got here. So, Kurt, number 27, please.
Now she's taking her message to the other side of the Atlantic. She's setting sail on a solar-powered boat, bringing a message to a UN summit in New York. The journey could take 2 weeks, but Greta says she doesn't fly because of the environmental impact of air travel.
They say they listen to us, and now that is up to them to prove that if they have listened.
How would you rate the United States climate change efforts?
Not very high.
Why not?
Because, I mean, the emissions are still rising.
The U.S. releases more carbon emissions than any country except for China. Greta wants all governments to cut emissions in line with the Paris Climate Accord, which President Trump has rejected. Would you meet with President Trump?
Why should I waste time talking to him when he, of course, is not going to listen to me?
But judging by her millions of followers on social media, the climate strikes she's inspired in the U.S. and across the world, and the number of politicians who want to hear her speak, many people are listening. What can each of us do to fight climate change?
To get aware and to try to understand what is going on, what is happening, and also, of course, to put pressure on people in power.
Critics dismiss Greta as alarmist, too young, and too inexperienced. But she says this climate crusade must go on if her generation is to have a future. For CBS This Morning, Roxana Saberi, Stockholm, Sweden.
For an introverted young lady, she's speaking with a very loud voice.
She's so wise beyond her years and so poised. I heard her speak in Stockholm this past summer, and the room was mesmerized by this little girl. Because you stand and you go, oh, okay, she's going to be a little kid speaking. But the words that came out of her mouth gave everybody something to think about. And you see that there, too.
Yeah, and heading here, this is the country to come to. We are a major contributor to global warming and a major denier of the science as the rest of the world has signed on.
There you go.
It makes you think.
We're a major contributor and a big denier. And why? Because we have Fox, and Fox loves to take advantage of the simple folk. And guys, we're going to show you how they do it. And, you know, once you start to get the idea of how people like Uncle Joey and Kenny Johnson, you know, when they sit there and they watch Laura Ingraham, and they actually believe what they're hearing. And guys, they don't check anything. They just believe everything. So let's have some fun with clip number 28. Kurt?
The climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child.
A mentally ill Swedish child.
Brainwash these kids. Should be brought
Brainwashing these kids.
Somebody needs to read poor Greta Genesis chapter 9 and tell her next time she worries about global warming, just look at a rainbow. That's God's promise that the polar ice caps aren't going to melt and flood the world again.
Is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not.
Anyone else find that
Kurt, can you turn this up a little?
A time of tribulation has come. A test is at hand. the final text.
I can't wait for Stephen King's sequel, Children of the Climate.
The Fox News was shut down
You're
for
a grown
call.
man and you're attacking a child. Shame on you. She's trying to do what you think
attacking
is
the left
right.
for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Relax, skinny boy. I got this, okay? You're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some cool.
I'm not. I'm attacking the left for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown up when you're talking about children. She's trying to save the planet because your president doesn't believe in climate change, and kids need to take to the streets to worry about their future.
There you go.
Despicable for talking to her about her like that. You should apologize on national television right now.
I think the international left and her parents who are exploiting a girl with many mental illnesses.
You called her mentally ill. Take it back now.
She is mentally ill.
Back now.
She is mentally ill. She has.
She is mentally. Oh, you bitch.
Disorder. She has selective mutism. She had depression.
You are despicable.
Her mother wrote about this in a book.
Why are you being so nice to him?
But unfortunately, you don't have any facts on your side of it.
You're despicable. You're a grown up. Be a grown up.
Knowles doubled down on his remarks. There is nothing shameful about living with mental disorders. What is shameful is exploiting a child, particularly a child with mental disorders. Fox News issued an apology after his disgraceful statement. The comment made by Knowles, who was a guest on the story, was disgraceful. We apologize to Greta Thunberg and our viewers. Fox News. So even Fox News apologized. But this next clip we're going to show you is a Fruit Loop from The Blaze, which is one of the ways that they indoctrinate the young kids to be against science. And guys, this is Sarah Gonzalez. This is the first clip I've seen of her. But guys, I don't want to throw stones. But when she's talking, look at her eyes. Now, I'm serious. I don't know if her eyes are closed and she has fake eyes painted over her eyelashes. But look, she hardly ever blinks. And it's just amazing. And God, I'm not saying this to be a bad guy, but when I was watching the clip, I've never seen a person that didn't blink, that blinked as little as this babe. So Kurt, let's see if I'm right or wrong. Number 29.
Greta Thunberg's parents are terrible people. Yeah, I said it. Because only terrible people and terrible parents would allow their young daughter up on a world stage to say this.
Am I right or wrong? Did she blink at all?
I should be back in school.
Once.
On the other side of the ocean.
Hey, there's one thing we can agree on. Yes, you should be on the other side of the ocean, back in school, exactly where you belong.
Yet, you all come to us young people.
You don't think that's unusual?
How dare you?
I don't recall soliciting your opinion on adult discussions. No.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet, I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction.
Wait. By mass extinction, does she mean all of the babies aborted every year? She may be onto something there.
Guys, I don't know. It seems to me that she hardly blinks at all. But the point is,
Not unusual.
that, well, I'm just surprised. But the point is, you know, the way she's claiming that Greta isn't an adult. She's the adult. Sweetheart, if you were the adult, you would understand that the globe is warming and the climate's changing. Instead, you're picking on kids? Is that what you want to do? You want to be Uncle Joey, a woman That's an Uncle Joey, an Uncle Joette. So let's see with the next clip with number 30. Hit it, Kurt.
By mass extinction, does she mean all of the babies aborted every year? She may be onto something there.
And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
The fairy tale.
How dare you?
All right. You know who stole your childhood, girl? Your damn parents who decided that fame and political agendas were more important than preserving their own child's innocence.
There's a blank.
You know who stole your dreams? The radical leftists who have made it their new hobby to parade young children around to preach their causes on stage because you're like not allowed to criticize a child when they speak, so don't be rude. The kids at Covington Catholic High School might have a different response. Okay, well, you're not allowed to criticize kids who agree with the leftist agenda. Screw the other ones. Well, you know what? I'm not criticizing this girl. I am criticizing every single person responsible for exploiting her. I'm criticizing her parents who know that their young daughter has OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. She has a psychological issue. She has developmental disorders. She has high functioning autism. They know that she suffers from these things. And instead of getting her help for her clear anxiety that climate change is going to kill us all, they're just tossing her up on stage to lecture us adults who don't know any better. And you know what? I had someone say to me earlier, it's not like she was forced on stage. You don't think kids can, like, think for themselves? Yeah. Kids do think for themselves, which is why they do really stupid things like eat Tide Pods and chug beer up their butts, which is why parents are the ones responsible for making the decisions for them until they grow into an adult who hopefully by that point is smart enough not to do things like eat Tide Pods and chug beer up their butts. Let me say it very clearly for the people in the back. Hyping this poor girl up to think that she is going to die from climate change, that everyone around her is going to die from climate change, is child abuse. This is child exploitation. The left is weaponizing our children. Well, the ones that they allow to be born anyway. They are brainwashing our children in a way that the Third Reich themselves would just be so proud of.
So the Third Reich would be proud of the way the kids are being brainwashed. So when you teach them to read a temperature chart, that's brainwashing them. When you teach them science, when they get to understand physics and Mother Nature, they understand where water freezes and where it boils. You know, all these different things. When kids understand that, you think that's like Nazi propaganda? Again, ask backwards. You must be good friends with Uncle Joey. Everything, ask backwards. But guys, once again, we're going to let Greta talk with a little truth, a lot of science, and plenty of facts. So Kurt, 31, please.
People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today, because these numbers are too uncomfortable, and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line. The world is waking up, and change is coming whether you like it or not.
Carbon emissions are rising, and faster than most scientists predicted. But many climate change alarmists seem to claim that all climate change is worse than expected. This ignores that much of the data is actually more encouraging than expected. Yes, Arctic sea ice is melting faster than models expected, but models also predicted that Antarctic sea ice would decrease, yet Antarctic sea ice is increasing. Yes, sea levels are rising, but the rise is not accelerating. If anything, two recent papers, one by Chinese scientists published in January 2014 and the other by US scientists published in May 2013, have shown a small decline in the rate of sea level increase.
Oh, stop it.
We're often being told that we're seeing more and more droughts, but a study published in March 2014 in the journal Nature actually shows a decrease in the world's surface that has been afflicted by droughts since 1982. Facts like these are important because a one-sided focus on worst-case stories is a poor foundation for sound policies.
And guys, that's put out by Prager University. And I saw him on Fox today, Fox and Friends this morning. And of course, he's against impeachment. But guys, I tell you, to see what the conservatives and the Republicans will do, how they'll go out of their way to trick the simple folk and just create doubt, confusion. That's all they want to do. And all we want to do is prove how they do it. So we'll play part 2, number 32. Hit it, Kurt.
Facts like these are important because a one-sided focus on worst-case stories is a poor foundation for sound policies. Hurricanes are likewise used as an example of things getting worse. But look at the US, where we have the best statistics. If we adjust for population and wealth, hurricane damage during the period of 1900 to 2013 actually decreased slightly.
Tell the people
At the UN Climate Conference in Lima,
now
Peru, in December 2014, attendees were told that their countries should cut carbon emissions to avoid future damage from storms like Typhoon Hagupit, which hit the Philippines during the conference, killing at least 21 people and forcing more than 1 million into shelters. Yet the trend for strong typhoons around the Philippines have actually declined since 1950, according to a study published in 2012 by the Journal of Climate. Again, we're told that all things are getting worse, but the facts don't support this. This does not mean global warming is not real or a problem, but the one-sided story of alarmism makes us lose focus. If we want to help the world's poor, who are the most threatened by natural disasters, it's less about cutting carbon emissions than it is about pulling them out of poverty. The best way to see this is to look at the world's death from natural disasters over time. In the Oxford University database for death rates from floods, extreme temperatures, droughts, and storms, the average in the first part of last century was more than 130 dead every year per million people. Since then, the death rates have dropped 97% to a new low in the 2010s of less than 4 per million.
I don't know. You buying it, guys? When you see some of the facts are skewed, how do you know they all aren't? And that's why you really have to...
University, for God's sake.
There you go. But the one thing I always say on this show is... And we did 4 or 5 weeks ago, we did a show on PragerU. But be specific and cite your source. And when you tell people, I get my information from PragerU, are they going to say, is that the same place that people got their degrees from TrumpU? Hey, remember Trump never settled the suit? But he settled a $25 million suit for Trump University. Bada bing, Uncle Joey. All right, and guys, the last clip we're going to play is about carbon capture. And this is from the Lafarge concrete plant. And guys, to be honest with you, I really wasn't completely aware of how much carbon the creation of concrete creates. But guys, instead of me explaining it to you, we'll let the engineers at Lafarge explain it. And guys, I'm telling you, this is big. This is going to make a dramatic difference, almost as much as biogas. But like I said, instead of me telling you, we'll let Lafarge tell you. Kurt, hit it.
We're looking at ways we can innovate with concrete. It's important for Lafarge to take a leading role in looking at innovations to deal with a future low-carbon economy, and we can do that across all our product lines. We're happy to be showcasing the Carbon Cure technology where we can infuse CO2 into our concrete product, and we're happy to be able to pilot it right here at our Barrie plant.
The Carbon Cure system is a bolt-on technology, so it can be easily added to any ready mix or masonry producer. The waste carbon dioxide that is captured is brought to the plant here and put in this tank next to me in a liquid form. The CO2 gets metered, travels up the hose behind me, and goes into the truck to mix with the concrete, permanently trapping it in the concrete so it would never get re-released. So it's recycling the CO2 in that manner.
Carbon Cure's technology is something that is new. Innovations that are new, they involve risk. They involve change. So it's very important to actually look at real-world commercial demonstrations where companies like Lafarge Canada can actually test a new innovation like this within their operations. We've been working with the Ontario government to actually put in place what we call this Clean Technology Demonstration Program. And what we're finding is there's a lot of interest in the innovation space. They are one key step in terms of moving towards broader industry adoption. You have to have these real-world commercial demonstrations.
With this new technology, we want to be a leader in testing it to see if it can be something that can be applied across all our facilities across Canada. For us, it means that we're opening the door for other innovations to come and be tested here. And
other
hopefully
innovations.
It's just, as the saying goes, the start of a beautiful relationship.
Concrete itself is the second most abundant used material in the world. So that creates a huge greenhouse gas issue.
Second most used material.
Capturing that carbon dioxide and utilizing it in concrete is definitely a step in the right direction.
Guys, I want to thank everybody for a dynamite year.
Policy across the globe.
I want to thank Kurt.
Towards a low carbon economy.
He's been a real trooper.
One great way of actually
really stepped
CO2
up to the plate.
To capture it and to
done a great job. I want to thank Candy, Dave, Comcast,
in the production of concrete.
And I want to thank
There's a growing need,
the viewers,
and demand, and an appetite.
And hopefully you'll subscribe to us.
Clients, but I think
and
guys,
if you have ideas,
solutions,
get with me on Facebook.
And building
And
materials
if I
like
can get the
concrete
videos,
can provide that.
I'll be more than happy to put them up.